You are going to be a force for good and a very important sorcerer.
The following is an original production of the Sorcerer Radio Network.
Are you insane?
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcast system. This is only a test.
Those who are made impractical by enclosed dark spaces will simulate this bypass this experience.
Up and at 'em, pal! Oh boy, are we glad you're here! Big doings going on, so let's get started. See you real soon.
Let's do this thing!
Interface complete.
Broadcasting from Music City.
Oh, look at all the people.
It's WDW Tiki Room, the show about all things Disney.
Pay attention, it's Joe time.
So it is. And what darling people I have sitting under me.
With your hosts, Kristen, Aljon, and Natalie.
Oliva, I almost fell out of my upper perch. Glad to see you all aboard. Sure, or wherever you are.
Sorcerer Radio, srsounds.com.
Sorcerer Radio, srsounds.com. It's WDW Tiki Room, the show about all things Disney. I'm Kristen, with me Natalie and Aljon. That's right, Natalie's back from her secret mission. So, we said you had what was it we exactly said that she was doing?
She's on special assignment.
That's it.
You know how they say on the news, Kristen's on assignment. I know. That's exactly what we're on. Anytime that we're out, we're on special assignment. Because we're on very special assignments. Top secret assignments that even we don't know about. So. That's just the way it is. Well, we have a lot of news to talk about, don't we?
Yes, we do. Let's see. We're going to be talking about our trip report covering the new Fantasyland as well as Disney purchasing Lucasfilm. So there's a lot going on there. And let's kick it off with talking about our trips. Because Natalie not too long ago took a trip too. So
Natalie was able to actually enjoy going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party in her Super Mario costumes.
Yeah.
Princess Peach.
I'm very jealous because it looked like it didn't even rain that day.
Yeah, we didn't get rained on. Actually, the whole time we were there, it didn't rain.
Well, I tell you what, at least your costumes didn't get soaked and you were able to get, hopefully a lot of candy, and it looked like you guys had a good time.
Yes, we did. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, so before we move forward, if anyone's heard our shows, by the way, we have upgraded and uploaded all the shows to our server, so you can catch up with all the Tiki Room shows on www.tikiroom.com. So download them today, subscribe, and like them. But Natalie, would you do Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party again?
I definitely would. I always enjoy the Mickey's Not So Scary. I like the parade and the fireworks and all that kind of thing. However, if you are concentrating your vacation mostly on attractions, it may not be something for you. There was one person in our party, who might be my husband, who thought that he's not really into the parade and the fireworks, and it was just a complete distraction from doing the attractions and seeing everything that he really wanted to see, because that was our only day at Magic Kingdom. So we didn't have a lot of time to spend with the attractions because, of course, taking a 6-year-old with you, he's wanting to see and do everything to do with the Halloween. So it was a good time for him, and myself and my husband was, I guess because he's never been to any of the parties, he just really was disheartened that he didn't get to ride more of the attractions. So.
Well, I guess that's what happens when I guess that's what happens when you don't attend the parks as much as he does. So
exactly, yeah, he felt a little slighted because we didn't have enough time really to enjoy everything that we wanted to do there. So
yeah, well, there you have it. Natalie chimes in with her not so scary report. We had.
I will say that wearing a Princess Peach outfit, I went into a couple of different stores or into an attraction, and there would be a cast member who would say, "Which princess are you?" Of course, they were trying to associate me with the Disney princess, and being a Nintendo princess, it was it was a little more far-fetched than what they were used to, but of course you'd say Princess Peach. Most people knew who Princess Peach was, especially if you had either Mario or Luigi with me, but if not, they kind of looked at me like, who?
It's Japanese. Don't you understand Japanese? The funny thing is, it won't be long. Maybe Disney will buy a Nintendo too. You just never know.
Yes. Exactly. Very true.
Seems like Disney shopping spree, but I digress. I know we went off into a tangent, and it's my fault this time. So, Kristen, I'll let you have it.
Okay. Anything else anybody wants to say about their trip report?
Before we go into Fantasyland?
Yeah, before we go into Fantasyland.
I'll also say that whenever we went, we also went over to Legoland, and we actually did the Halloween there as well. And it was actually included with the ticket. And if you go, it's about 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes to get over to Legoland from the Disney area. And the trick-or-treating there it's basically like a little pass, and the kids get a stamp. They get a stamp on their hand, and then there's probably 8 to 10 different stations, and they would trick-or-treat. There was also, in the Legoland, they have a whole setup of the Lego City. There was also a candy corn, and you were trying to seek out the 5 different hidden candy corns, and they had letters on them. You'd unscramble it, make a word, and there was a chance to win something if you were the one that was chosen of the words. And there was also a contest for the best costume in a variety of different age groups and heights of costumes as well. So that was pretty good. So if you're going to go, and you want to attend their Halloween, it's actually included as long as you go on one of the Saturdays when it's offered. So that was something else that we did on that trip. So little Spidey was actually Spider-Man that night. So he got to do 2 different costumes on that vacation.
That's always fun.
Yeah, he loved it.
We'll have to check that out. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a really great park, but you need to have a small child. Over 12, you've already missed your window. Because all the attractions are really geared towards smaller children. So,
yeah, well,
perfect for his age.
Well, there you have it. Well, there you go. Spidey having fun at Legoland. I like that. I like that. Okay. So, something that we have all experienced at the parks recently, which I guess to some very degree, would be the Fantasyland expansion, aka New Fantasyland. And I like how Disney decided to make more, the marketing that is Disney, make it sound like it was huge, calling it the Fantasyland expansion, which it is.
The New Fantasyland. It's called New Fantasyland.
The New Fantasyland, and which is true. I mean, they've added on to Fantasyland, at the expense of removing Toontown. But that said, Kristen and I were able to experience some of the new attractions. Natalie was able to walk through some. Before we get into first impressions of the newer stuff that is open, Natalie, you were able to check out the Storybook Circus area as well, right?
Very, very little. Are you talking about as far as the character interaction that's there?
Kristen and I were able to go into Sideshow Pete's, which did house the character meet and greet area, as well as Big Top. I think it's called Big Top Treats. I forgot what it was called, Kristen, but
yeah, that sounds right.
We have that.
Big Top Souvenirs.
The Big Top Souvenirs, that's right. And the other 2 areas that were open was the Barnstormer with the Great Goofini and Dumbo, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I think
the
there was
water play area.
That's right, the water play area. So, Natalie, what did you think about all that stuff?
The water play area I really like it. I think it's a good attraction for the children to enjoy. It is a parenting nightmare because it is not enclosed at all. And I know watching my 6-year-old son, he runs from one piece of the attraction to a different train car, which is a different part of the attraction, and it's not encased at all. So if you have small children, of course, they're going to get drenched. They don't get a little bit wet, it's absolute drench fest. And so if you have children that you think would enjoy doing that, you need to take either a change of clothes or, I don't know if they're allowing children to strip down to their diaper or not to play in that, but it is really a drench fest. But I was not a fan of it simply because I do like it whenever you go into these kiddie play areas and there's only one gate in and there's only one gate out. So as a parent, I would sit, if I'm not going to stay with my child the whole time, I would sit close to the gate so that he could not escape without me seeing him first. But that's my only thing that I saw that I did not like about that. Now, as far as Dumbo is absolutely gorgeous. Y'all must have thought that it was gorgeous as well.
Yes. I think that whole area, I like the way it's themed. I think it looks really nice.
Did you guys ride it whenever y'all just went? Whenever you went, did you go through the queue for Dumbo?
Did we ride Dumbo, Aljon?
You and I did ride Dumbo. In fact, that video is on YouTube.
That's what I thought. I was going to say, didn't we ride Dumbo? It wasn't last time, but it was the time before.
Yeah, well, it was open.
We'll run it whenever it had the waiting area open up inside the actual tent for Dumbo.
You know what? I don't even think we had to wait. It was actually during the summertime during Star Wars Celebration in August.
No. It was the beginning of October.
Oh, was it the beginning of October? Holy
yeah,
smokes.
and you're right. We didn't have to wait. That's why it was taking me a minute to remember if we did that or not, because we walked right on.
Yeah.
They have it set up now, which maybe you've seen something on YouTube or something. Now, whenever you go to ride the attraction, you go through the regular line. So you go inside the tent, and the tent is circus themed, just like a scene from the Dumbo movie, and the children can play and have a great time while they're theoretically in line. And then whenever it's time for them to ride the attraction, the buzzer goes off, and then you take the buzzer back up to the cast member, and then you go outside, stand in line, and get on to pretty much the next Dumbo ride. So it's a really great way to be in line but not have to actually stand outside in line with the children on board. They actually get to play the whole time they're waiting.
So it's kind of like going to a restaurant and waiting for your table.
Kind of like that, but the kids, get to play in a play area. It's a very cool play area with slides and, climbing pieces. It's really cool. So that was, and it also had a small area in the very, very center for really small children. So they had the bigger children could play around the edge, and then in the very center was the really small children's play things. So that was really neat. And as we all know, my son is a major fan of the great Goofini.
It's because he's actually tall enough to ride that ride.
Yeah, for some reason that one, he's not chicken of that one. And what's funny is that that was his first roller coaster, whenever it was, before the Fantasyland expansion, was that attraction. And the cast member really helped him on that attraction. I don't know if he remembers all that, but, the cast member was like, come on, you can ride it. And he stayed in line with us the whole time and kind of talked him through it, and it was really cute. So I kind of really like that attraction still. Have y'all ridden that one?
Oh, yeah.
We did.
It's a little jerky. I wish the backs of the seats were a little more cushioned.
I think it's intended for little ones. They're like, we don't care about the adults on this one. This is a roller coaster for the kids.
Exactly.
And it's mega, mega short. It's like you're on and you're done before you know it.
It is. It's like you blink and there you go. You're already back at the loading dock. Okay, so let's talk about the aerial section of New Fantasyland.
Let's talk about that. Now, this is the attraction called Under the Sea, Journey of the Little Mermaid, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Natalie, you rode this.
I did. That was actually we only got into this section because it was open whenever we were at Mickey's Not So Scary. So in addition to, the candy and all that kind of bit, we were trying to squeeze in our visit of Fantasyland that had just opened up, or was about to open up, I guess, for everybody. They were kind of doing a preview, and we did ride it, and it was very much like the one out in Disney California Adventures. I didn't see any differences. I'm sure that people that have ridden both of the attractions a lot would see that there are probably plenty of differences, but they were extremely similar to myself. How about you guys?
The only difference that I noticed was the one scene with her hair. And Aljon said people commented that looked like a Dole Whip. Because her hair spun up and, like, twisted.
Oh, that's over at California Adventure, which, by the way, they did. And I think they ended up changing it because there were so many complaints that Ariel looked possessed. Because her hair was, like, all floating up in the air like it did in the film. So they made a change to that, and they made the change to the Ariel animatronic in the new attraction at Disney World. And, yeah, so, yeah, good times there.
That's what I was trying to get to.
Yeah.
Is that they had changed her hair, and now it looks like it's supposed to be a ponytail or something. I can't figure it out.
It's a shadow. There's a shadow that's cast on it.
I don't know. It looks weird too, so. Ariel just has bad hair day when it comes to that scene, no matter where she is. The East Coast or the West Coast just doesn't like her hair.
Well, on either coast, the scene where they sing Kiss the Girl, you mentioned that Ariel looks a little like, she's a little tired, if you know what I mean. She looks a little and she has this kind of weird thing going on with her eyes when she's getting ready to kiss Eric. And, of course, she's supposed to look dreamy-eyed, as opposed to the other, so I don't know what else you want to call that, but
I think what it is that she went over to be our guest.
She ended up having a bottle of wine before she went on the cruise.
That's what I think happened.
Yeah, well, could have been. But there is a big difference between the California Adventure version and our version, and I say our version over at Disney World, is, of course, the guys from Disney Geek Podcast are going to ride our butts again. Did I just say that? I guess I did. But at any rate, the queue and the theming on the outside rocks. I think that's the best part of the attraction. If you're not familiar with this attraction at all, when you get inside, it's an Omnimover, so it looks a lot like with Nemo and Friends or Haunted Mansion. It's got that really cool thing going on in the attraction, and it's just all animatronics that are singing, and that takes you through the movie, the film. But the queue is great. The theming looks just like you walk straight into the film, because there's sandy beaches. It looks like a little sandy area. There's seashells and water flowing everywhere. The waterfalls. And Kristen, you pointed out something in the queue that took me a while to see, because I was just trying to move through the line, and you were talking about the little hermit crab that's in there, the little blue crab.
I know, he's so cute. I like him.
Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Did you see that, Natalie, when you went on?
The animatronic, or I guess animation, is more.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that, but I thought it was so cute. This little blue crab, you see him in like different parts of the queue, and he's animated, and he'll go and grab something, like grab a necklace, and then he brings it, and you're like, no, if you wave your hand no, he'll run off and he grabs something different, like an earring to show you.
I didn't notice that.
Oh yeah.
The crab, we've got several pictures of it here, but yeah, I didn't see that he did anything like that. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, and the different sections he's in, he brings different kinds of, I don't know.
Yeah, he
trinkets.
brings like a comb.
Thingamabobs.
Yeah, thingamabobs. Yeah, he brings a little fork, and he brings earrings and jewelry and a comb, and he shows it to you, and he blinks at you like, do you like this? He blinks at you and kind of winks at you, and then if you don't like it, you just kind of wave him off, and he returns back with something else that he finds in the treasure. And it's so funny because it looks like he's following you from little place to little place. Sometimes he'll be in a lantern, or he'll be in a treasure chest, or he'll be just hanging out, so I think it's great technology that he interacts with the people that are in line. And as you said before, Kristen, that's part of the holdup when you're going through that queue, is people are just fascinated by that animation that's there. And it's brilliant, whatever the Imagineers did, because it looks bright and it looks great. So I like that little character.
Well, once you moved past that and there was nobody in front of you, you literally walked right onto the attraction. all of the holdup was completely in the queue with that animation that they had going on. So I think Disney did a good job with that. It'll be interesting to see, though, how much that backs up the attraction, because people get stuck watching that rather than wanting to ride, the attraction itself.
I don't know about you guys, but I thought that queue was excessively long. It was like Nemo long.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a long queue.
It is. Like, I don't know if you'll ever fill this queue.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be a huge line for this attraction, and I think, the kids, everybody will dig it. I don't think it's necessarily something I would necessarily ride again, especially if there's a long wait, because I think once I've ridden it, it's just like Nemo over there in Epcot. I'm just not that intrigued by it. I think the technology is great behind it all. I think the technology is even better at the Nemo one, because at least when you're traveling through, you can see, the little projections of the different characters and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I'm not saying that it's, heads and tails over better. I'm just saying, I'm not necessarily a fan of those attractions. I am a fan of Haunted Mansion, however, and I will ride that multiple times. So, I don't know. It's just a matter of preference, but, yeah, that's where I stand. And I know, Natalie, you're not quite a big fan of that attraction either.
Yeah, I'm not. It just seems like Disney could have definitely gone far beyond what they offered in this attraction, and I was really disappointed whenever I heard it was coming to Fantasyland, because I thought, really? That's as good as you've got out there in California, and that's what you're bringing here? It just seems like they could have, even my father, I rode this attraction for the first time with him, and he's not really hard to please. He goes, it seems like Disney could have done something better, like the animatronics could have been done better, that they would have progressed so much further than this attraction. So I'm not a fan. I'm not going to not ride it, but it's not going to be on the top of my list of things to do.
Well, I think when you look at it in terms of presentation, I think obviously it's heads and tails better than Snow White's Scary Adventures and even Peter Pan, even though I still kind of like Peter Pan for what it does. So I don't know. The debate will rage on, but I think hopefully everything will be, all the naysayers will be happy when we, finally have the Snow White's Mind Coaster thing going on. I think that'll be the one that'll hopefully break everything down and say, this is what Imagineering's capable of doing now. So we'll see.
We will see. Speaking of seeing, I'm guessing, Natalie, you did not get a chance to see Ariel's Grotto.
Ariel's Grotto.
Yeah, that's
nice
where
segue,
the meet and greet with Ariel.
I did not.
The one thing I could say, it's pretty much the same as what it was back before they tore any of that stuff down to build the new Fantasyland.
It's exactly the same, minus stepping on the soft cork.
Exactly.
And the fountain area.
So I don't think there's too much to say about that, other than you can go and meet Ariel, and for those who complain that Ariel looks older than she should be, Ariel, when we were there, looked very much the age that Ariel is supposed to be in the movie. So.
You think so?
What? What? You thought she looked a lot older?
Oh, dude, I thought she was like 28.
No.
I'm a poor judge of age.
Yes, you are.
You think she looked 16?
I think she looked like a teenager.
Okay, well, check out her picture. I did post it on WDW Tiki Room on Facebook, so you judge for yourself. Hell,
I even said that to you when we were, right as we exited the attraction. I said she looked young enough to be Ariel.
You did say that, but I don't agree with that, so...
So now you're not agreeing with me?
I didn't think I agreed with you then, but...
Okay,
maybe I just said it wrong. Who knows?
Gee.
Moving forward.
It's you.
Keep moving forward.
Okay, so we've covered the new Fantasyland section that was Storybook Circus. I keep wanting to call it Storybrooke.
It's not Once Upon a Time.
I know. I keep wanting to say that. That and the section that is The Little Mermaid. I think we should take a break, and then we come back. We can talk about the Beauty and the Beast section of New Fantasyland.
Sounds like
as well as talk about the Disney purchase of Lucasfilm.
Yeah, that won't take long at all.
Keep it right here to Sorcerer Radio, srsounds.com. It is WDW Tiki Room, the show about all things Disney with Kristen, Aljon, and Natalie.
Hi, it's Jason Swank. And I'm Jimmy Mack. And we're with the Star Wars podcast, The Forcecast. And you're listening to Sorcerer Radio.
Hey, don't forget to send me a postcard from the Muppet Studios.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't do that, Walter.
But, Gary...
Because... you're coming with us!
Book your next Disney vacation with Kristen Hetzel of Magical Journeys Travel, an unconventional agency for the unconventional client. Magical Journeys is dedicated to finding the best pricing for your next magical journey.
Wait a minute. I love that idea.
Kristen will work hard to save you money and give you the quality of service you deserve. As a well-established agency and an authorized Disney vacation planner, Magical Journeys Travel has many years in the travel industry and dealing with the infamous Disney reservation system. Let Kristen help you plan your next magical journey. To book travel or for a free quote, please contact Kristen Hetzel at www.magicaljourneys.travel.com/Kristen. Follow her on Twitter at Kristen Hetzel.
All right, come on, everybody.
Magical Journeys, an authorized Disney vacation planner.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
Meet the Magic is a site where you can find Disney sites, blogs, and find new Disney friends. Learn how to save money or make your trip more magical.
Prepare to have your senses awakened.
Visit MeetTheMagic.com and follow her on Twitter at MeetTheMagic, a proud partner of Sorcerer Radio.
It's an adventure too magical to miss.
I am a Jedi. Like my father before me.
Are you a fan of Disney, Star Wars, and Marvel? Well, look no further than JediMouseketeer.com. On the Geeky fan site, you'll find the latest news, videos, information on movies, comics, and more. Check out JediMouseketeer.com and follow him on Twitter at JediMouseketeer, the proud partner of Sorcerer Radio.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
In a spitting match, nobody spits like Gaston.
I'm especially good at expectorating. 10.4 Gaston. When I was a lad, I ate 4 dozen eggs every morning to help me get large. And now that I'm grown, I eat 5 dozen eggs, so I'm roughly the size of a barge.
It's WDW Tiki Room, the show about all things Disney with Kristen, Aljon, and Natalie. We are talking about the new Fantasyland, which we just got back from checking out. Natalie checked it out just a couple weeks ago. Coming up, we will be talking about Disney's purchase of Lucasfilm as well. So back to the new Fantasyland and over to Beauty and the Beast section with, let's start with the Enchanted Tales with Belle. Nat, I'm guessing that was not open when you were there either.
I don't even know what that is. They're probably not.
Well, let me tell you.
You tell her, Aljon. You tell her all about Enchanted Tales with Belle.
Okay, well, first of all, Enchanted Tales with Belle is...
Picture of the sign. That's as far as it got.
Well, first of all, it's a reproduction of Maurice's and Belle's house. So you walk in... Cottage, right. So... You walk through the little well, different areas that are specific to the movie. You've done it very, very well. You walk into the interior. You get to see them, playing. There's like a checkerboard set up there, all the teapots, the fireplace there where Maurice would be. And you walk into this place where there's a mirror, and the cast member simply brings you in, and this attraction basically is one part story time with Belle. In other words, you participate in the recreation, mini play, if you will, of the first day that Belle and Beast fell in love, or whatever the case was. And this is another part of the immersive quality, the Disney-esque quality of it all. You are actually being transported to that time and place. So as you're walking through, the cast member says, okay, so we're going to surprise Belle before she has dinner with the Beast. And you go in, and I hate that I'm spoiling this, but I'm sure a lot of people may see the video that we posted online. But you are told that this mirror was a mirror that an enchanted mirror Belle gave to Maurice so that Maurice could visit them at their castle whenever they wanted to. Kind of creepy, but not so creepy in a Disney way. So as you do that, you step through this mirror. It looks like just some unassuming mirror, but there's some really cool special effects, animation that happens, and you step through the mirror into the Beast's castle. Pretty cool effect. I really dig it. And as you walk through, the same cast member says, now we're going to surprise Belle. We're going to do this story. We need people from the audience and audience participation. And for the most part, it's all children that take place in this recreation of this story. A couple of adults maybe get chosen. So you recreate this story with the wardrobe that comes to life, and Madame Wardrobe is talking to you, and it's the same voice, and it looks the same as it does in the cartoon, in the film. Looks great. Then you participate in this story with Lumiere, and none other than Belle pops in and helps tell the story, which is really neat. And there's a little photo op time there that Belle gets to pose with a PhotoPass photographer, where your child specifically poses with Belle. And that's the opportunity for the people that took part in the play to get their picture with Belle only. And it's not the party. A lot of people think it's the entire family that gets their picture. No, it's just the kid. And the kid better be ready, because they're going to go through it really quickly. And even if the children have not participated in the play, they may have an opportunity as well if they're of a certain age. So I think the cutoff is probably like 12 years old or something like that, from what I could gather. And then after that, you're just shuffled out. Everybody says, great, awesome. Then you get to be transported back to Maurice's place. So that's basically it. And I think the coolest thing about it is basically being transported through that mirror. And of course, being there with, the characters. Lumiere was amazing. The animatronic is basically the size of a candelabra that you see. It's not like the big Lumiere that's in that stage play at Disney's Hollywood Studios, where he's life size, or the size of a person, I should say. This is actually to scale what Lumiere would look like from the film. So in relation to Belle. So that was really neat. And same with Wardrobe. Wardrobe was gigantic. You could probably put Kristen and I in there, and there'd still be room for Natalie. So I'm just saying.
I don't know about that. But...
Oh no, I do know about that. That thing was huge. And luckily for us, unlike what some of the reports I've read from Disney communities, everything worked just fine. All the animatronic, special effects, lighting, everything worked just fine. So definitely something everyone needs to check out.
Now, Natalie, the best thing that I can explain, like the beginning of this too, is when I first walked in and you walk into Maurice's workshop, it made me think of okay, and right now you can send your hate mail to WDW Tiki Room at srsounds.com, and you can address it to me. It reminded me of walking in to the Harry Potter wand show with the kids. It's kind of like the workshop area, and you face forward, and then of course there's like a little thing, like presentation you see, and then of course then you go into the show area. But when you first walk in and see the little workshop, it made me think of, it's It's about that size, so maybe a little bit bigger, but it kind of made me think of that
Magic Wand shop.
The Magic Wand shop show that they have over at Universal. I don't know if that gives you a little bit of visualization there as far as...
It's not a very big area.
I'm surprised that they made it that small or intimate, however they want to say it.
I think I'll put it to you like this. I believe that the actual showroom houses, I don't know how many people were in the show, Kristen, maybe 25 to 30 people at max.
Oh.
Yeah,
and I think roughly they do 2 shows simultaneously, so I believe that they possibly move through about 300 people an hour, which is not a whole lot of people, but the line was immensely huge, and I suspect there to be bigger lines when it actually does open because the effects are so amazing. So people want to see that, and they want to feel like they're part of the film, and I tell you what, Kristen made this to be a huge point, but the person voicing Lumiere was a dead-on, no pun intended, I'm so sorry, Jerry Orbach, God rest your soul, but was a spot-on Lumiere voice, and I don't know if it may be one of our voiceover friends like Steven Stanton that did that, or whoever, but whoever did Lumiere's voice sounded just like Jerry Orbach, so it was great. But
okay.
It was very impressive.
Bonjour Village Gifts. Now, you did go in that, right, Natalie?
What was it again?
Bonjour Village Gifts, the gift shop?
I did. Yes.
Okay. What did you think of the gift shop?
I don't know what the name of it was. The gift shop was gorgeous. I really thought it was beautiful.
Now, I have to say the one thing that I liked that Disney has gone away from in the past was, you over at Hollywood Studios, you used to be able to go into Villains and Vogue, and all that was sold there was Villains merchandise. And I'm hoping that after going into Bonjour Village Gifts, that this is a sign that they're going to go back to that, because everything in there related to Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
I don't think I saw one thing in there that wasn't, did you?
No. I'm looking at pictures and I do not, actually. And although there were a few paintings, they had all the different paintings, some of the paintings were just the castle, and I think maybe Tinkerbell making Mickey ears or something like that. And that was not specifically Beauty and the Beast, but for the most part, every single thing in there had something to do with Beauty and the Beast. I absolutely loved that store. I thought it was decorated very well. I just wanted to stand in there. And the costumes of the cast members in there, it was done very well. I liked that store.
I love the costuming for that section of the park.
I was going to say,
it is now one of my favorite Disney costumes.
Well, I was going to say, I'm glad you mentioned that, because you know how typically in Fantasyland there was one uniform, basically, just like there is, one uniform in, I don't know, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but every area had their own different uniforms. The gift shop had their own uniforms in comparison to the people that served drinks at Gaston's Tavern, which was great. So they did a really good job. And of course, Storybook Circus had their own great big top costumes as well. So yeah, kudos to them, because they just look great.
I think what you're thinking of is in an area you will find a costume that is the same at the shop as it is to the attraction nearby.
Right.
Whereas every single little, I don't think I've ever seen so many costumes for one little area.
Yeah, because I haven't noticed, like in Frontierland, the costumes for Splash look different than the costumes for Big Thunder. So, and of course everybody else at Frontierland all look the same. So, there you go.
Gaston's Tavern.
Yes, Gaston's Tavern. Awesome place. You must try the LeFou's brew. That's all I got to say about that.
Hey, Natalie, did you try that?
I did not. And no one else seemed to be trying it either. There was just the 2 cast members working, and no one was in that location at all. It was kind of weird. It was a little eerie in there.
Well, maybe
did you all try it? What did you think of it?
I did, and it has a similar. It's similar to butterbeer, but not.
Okay.
It's more appley.
Butterbeer for me is extremely sweet, like way too sweet.
This is a lot less sweet and has more of an apple juice taste to it.
There's also cinnamon rolls there. Those sound really good at least.
I heard they were huge cinnamon rolls. I didn't get a chance to see one. But Nancy from the Music City Mouseketeers was also there doing the preview. And she said that the cinnamon rolls were really, really big. She's like, big enough that you would want to share it with somebody else.
Like Main Street, USA? Big?
Like, bigger than that.
Well, I would think. I mean, I remember having the cinnamon roll over there by, in Adventureland, and that for breakfast one day, and that thing was huge. Kristen and I split it in half, and we still were pretty impressed by how big that portion was. So I'm sure it's going to be the same over there. So. But anyway, LeFou's Brew, awesome. And I did also see the pork shank. Someone did buy it, and it's basically their take on, the portable turkey leg. It looks to me a lot more appetizing than the turkey leg, because the turkey leg to me seems kind of greasy and gristly, and the pork shank actually looks like, wow, this is a carnivore treat, so perfect for my diet. So I can't wait to eat that. But once again, Gaston uses antlers in all of his decorating, and you get to see it play out in that area. It looks just like the film. The portrait of Gaston over the fireplace with Gaston's huge chair/throne with antlers everywhere, and Kristen took a picture of the dartboard where LeFou has like 2 points and like Gaston has like 25 points on the other side, which was great, just like the film. So everything about it is great. I was expecting Disney to kind of tone down a little bit about what's going on in Gaston's Tavern, because it's not supposed to be promoting alcohol. Another one of those ironic things. And then the hunting and gun aspect, you kind of want to steer clear of, especially the impressionable little ones. However, there are little deer heads and little bear heads on the wall still. So it does still have that, I guess, the film cinematic experience that's in there. So, but I think it's great. It's a great place to grab a bite, great place to grab a little beverage, and the costumes are great. And sometimes you can see Gaston, just like Kristen and I did when we were outside hanging out. So
that makes me think, Natalie, that's what you guys can go as a family next year for the Halloween party. Your hubby can be Gaston. You can go as Belle, and Spidey can be the Beast.
Sounds great.
That's kind of.
I just can't when I walk into Gaston's Tavern and think of your husband.
Oh my! That's kind of cool and also kind of creepy that Spidey would be the Beast. That's kind of creepy. I would think maybe he would be.
I don't think my husband thinks he's quite as awesome as Gaston does.
But anyway, so, and there's also that statue there in front, and we forgot to mention the fact that Gaston and LeFou from the film is actually there in that little fountain area up front.
They have been bronzed.
They've been bronzed, yes. So, outside of Gaston's Tavern, right next door, is Be Our Guest Restaurant, the piece de resistance of the new Fantasyland. And I'll let Kristen take it from there.
We unfortunately did not get to check out the place for lunch. We had walked in just as they had cut that off. But we were lucky enough that they had started taking dining reservations for those who were doing the sneak preview. And so you could walk up, and they had very limited time frame depending on when you enter for your preview of when you could schedule a reservation for for dinner. So we did that, and it's absolutely beautiful, beautiful restaurant. And I think we should get more into a review kind of standpoint of Gaston's Tavern and be our guest next week.
Let's do that.
Just kind of keep it minimal right now instead of going into all the food stuff.
Oh my gosh, there's so much we could talk about, just like this next subject.
Okay, be our guest. Natalie, you said you were able to walk into it, right?
I was.
What did you get to see when you walked in?
Basically just the dining room, and they kind of, I was a little confused because we weren't in there for very long, but they kind of explained that there were different sections, that there was the table service, and there was going to be counter service, and that kind of thing. So maybe you can explain that a little bit better.
Okay. For lunch, it is a counter service option, and for dinner, it is table service. And for lunch, when you walk in, there's a section where you'll walk between 6 knights, and they actually make sounds, and they'll snore and cough and different things like that as you walk through.
It's the Armory.
And it is a self-ordering station, so you walk up to one of the kiosks and enter your order in. There are 4 counters that you can, but the majority of it is set up mainly for people to walk up and order what they want. They receive a pager that is actually just a rose, and they bring your food out to your table, which I think is pretty cool. You know, order, walk down, and somebody kind of waits on you after that, and then they bring by, you know, desserts for you and things like that. So I thought that was pretty cool, even though we didn't get to experience it. So the 3 dining rooms, the one has portraits of like Belle and Beast and things like that. And there is a centerpiece of them dancing together in that room. And it is only open for the counter service. And then for dinner, the 2 rooms that you can dine in, which are also available for lunch, is the West Wing. And it's it's very dark in there. It has the enchanted rose. There's a portrait that's been slashed, like in the movie you see the portrait of when he was a prince that, you know, Beast slashed, and it's of the prince, but when it storms in the room, which I believe is like every 20 minutes, it'll flicker with the Beast's image for about a second. So you have to have your cameras ready because otherwise you'll miss it. In the main room, which I'm sure is the one you saw that looked like the ballroom.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big dining room. Mm-hmm. And I think they did a really good job, and I like how it snows.
Yes, I think that's awesome.
That snow scene, according to the cast member who waited on us, Katie, she said that snow is exactly the way it falls in the movie.
Yeah, it's the same projection, and Kristen and I tried getting our picture taken in front of it, and there was a lot of reflection coming off the back projection, so the pictures don't turn out too good. So don't expect your pictures to turn out very, very good if you try to get your pictures taken in front of that big screen, which is the backdrop of the French countryside covered in snow. So very impressive, though. Very impressive.
The chandeliers were imported from Italy, and the middle one they had to actually take apart because it was too big to enter the restaurant.
It was very impressive. Although it was gorgeous. Of course, it was empty, so, you know, it takes your breath away a little bit more. Chairs, even though I guess that's the main dining room. You're saying that's where you would have counter service actually brought to you, correct?
Well, in all 3 dining rooms, they bring counter service to you.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where...
breathtaking. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. Of course, whenever you've got, you know, children running around and strollers and all that kind of stuff, it will take away from it a bit, but it looks absolutely phenomenal.
There you go. And the desserts are great, too, but that's for the next...
That's another show.
That's another show.
That's another
I just had to throw that in there.
But, very quickly, I did want to say that when you look up at the ceiling and you see the babies up there, those are actually baby faces of the Imagineers children. So.
Are you serious? That's adorable.
Yes, it is.
Baby face. I was just looking at the picture and I thought, why is the babies that pop?
Oh yeah, it's just like the movie. Very nice. Nice touch.
Very nice.
Okay, Aljon, let's very quickly have a brief discussion on your favorite topic.
Okay, we're going to make an abbreviated geek report. So what happened this past week was that Disney bought Lucasfilm Limited for $4.05 billion. Insanity. When I first heard about it, I freaked out, but it's true. So George Lucas earlier this year stepped down from Lucasfilm and named a successor, and basically had been working with Disney, of course, since the early 80s with projects like Captain EO and, of course, Star Tours, and felt like it was his time to move on. He appointed Kathleen Kennedy, who had worked with Steven Spielberg and George Lucas on many different franchises, including Indiana Jones, to head up Lucasfilm. And then last week announced that basically Disney, that Lucasfilm is now part of the Disney family, which means Industrial Light and Magic, which does basically all the special effects in Hollywood. Also Skywalker Sound, that basically masters and puts out all the soundtracks and the different sound effects for every single movie that's out there. And, of course, Star Wars. But that wasn't just that. They also issued a press release saying that there would be another trilogy of Star Wars films to take place after the last trilogy, or the original trilogy of films. So episode 7, 8, and 9 would also be coming back or coming to theaters in 2015, the same year that Avengers will be coming out. So it's going to be a huge few years for Disney, and a lot of people have been skeptical about it, but I think that it's going to be a very good thing. More Star Wars under the Disney banner. And I think it's going to be great storytelling, as Lucasfilm is a big fan of the Disney company and working with Imagineers. And, of course, you know, having spent a lot of time with Disney and Imagineers over the past several years, almost 20-plus years, I think this is going to be a good thing. So,
you know what that means for us, Natalie?
What's that?
That means more Star Wars talk.
Very true. And what's entertaining is that the TV has been running Star Wars over and over again on some of the channels. And in my house, we have Star Wars stuff everywhere.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Well, it looks like the Clone Wars series that is on Cartoon Network will be migrating toward Disney XD in the near future. So, and with other animated series like Star Wars Detours, which is kind of like, you know, very comedic, made by Seth Green and Max Heinrich, that do the Robot Chicken, that's going to be coming over, and many other film properties, including a possible new Indiana Jones film project. So there's a lot of things that Disney's got their hands on, and I think it pretty much solidifies, you know, their motion picture division, not just with Disney Animation and Pixar, but with, of course, the Marvel franchises and now Lucasfilm. They pretty much have everything from princesses to superheroes to Jedis and cuddly animals. So
Ewoks.
So it looks like Spidey's going to be growing up every little bit of the Disney films when it comes down to it, from all the way from, you know, Duffy all the way to Darth Vader. I think we're going to have him covered. Aren't you lucky? Aren't you lucky?
Natalie's so thrilled about this, she's speechless.
I know. Well, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a big thing. I mean, they had spoken to their investors, and it looks like they're buying some great stuff, and I don't see how this can be a bad thing, even though some of the fan community is very skeptical about it. But a lot of the people that work for Disney and publishing, in terms of books like DK and different things like that, already do stuff for Lucasfilm. So I see there being a very good transition. And Kristen, you've been a little bit skeptical about it. Well,
I have different reasons than probably most do, but I think we should save the rest of your geek report for next week. Is that okay?
That's great. Why don't you tell everybody what people can hear real quick for next week?
Let's see. Next week is Phineas and Ferb and You at Downtown Disney. We also have dining reviews about Gaston's Tavern and Dinner at Be Our Guest. let's see, Bill Farmer interview as well.
Yep.
So,
Miss Goofy will be on the show hopefully next week.
As well as some gift-giving ideas.
Yep.
Everybody needs to... Where do they get the podcast again, Aljon?
Once again, just go to WDWTikiRoom.com, download the podcast, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, email us as well, WDWTikiRoom@srsounds.com, and follow Natalie at Meet the Magic.
You at Jedi Mouseketeer, me at Cooking W Mickey, all on Twitter. Let's see, what else, real quick.
There's nothing else. Everybody can find us on Facebook and Twitter, and of course at srsounds.com, where you can check everything out.
Tune in this afternoon at 1 p.m. for Disney
Trip Tips.
Thank you. Okay, well, until next time, I'm Kristen.
I'm Natalie. And I'm Aljon.
And we'll see you real soon.
May the Force be with you.
Oh, no.
Your age relives fond memories of the past, and here you may savor the challenge and promise of the future.
Sorcerer Radio. All Disney music, all day long. srsounds.com